In a cozy house at night, Emma is alone, chatting with friends over wine and watching a scary movie. The camera pans over a quaint living room filled with warm light and the sound of laughter. Emma is hosting a wine night with her close friends. They are all dressed casually, sipping from their glasses and sharing spooky stories, the ambience filled with a mix of joy and trepidation as they prepare to watch the latest horror flick. The movie starts, and as the tension builds on screen, Emma's friends become increasingly animated, shouting at the characters for their reckless decisions. The fun atmosphere is palpable, but there's an underlying sense of dread as Emma glances at the clock, noting how late it is getting. As the film progresses, the doorbell suddenly rings, slicing through the laughter like a knife. The room goes quiet, eyes wide with surprise, and they share nervous glances. Emma decides to investigate, her heart racing as she tiptoes toward the front door. Peering through the small glass panel, she sees the outline of the porch, but no one is visible. The driveway is empty except for her friends' cars, which means someone had to have been there. With a shrug, she returns to her friends, suggesting it was probably just a prank, perhaps some kids playing a late-night game of ding-dong ditch. The group chuckles nervously, dismissing the incident, but Emma can't shake the feeling that something is off. Late at night, Emma's friends have left, and the house is quiet. She feels a mixture of relief and loneliness, the remnants of laughter echoing in her mind. After cleaning up the empty bottles and snack bowls, she prepares for bed, but sleep eludes her. As she settles into her warm sheets, her mind races back to the doorbell and the uneasy feeling it left behind. Just as she begins to drift off, the doorbell rings again, this time more insistent. Emma jolts upright, her heart pounding in her chest. It's 1 a.m. Who could be at the door at this hour? Instinctively, she reaches for her phone, dialing her boyfriend Mark, who answers with a slurred, drunken voice. He's out with friends, and she can hear laughter and music in the background. He tells her to stay calm and not to open the door. The reassurance only partly calms her, and she hangs up, attempting to return to sleep. But just as she begins to settle again, a series of knocks echoes from her window. "Hey, is anyone home? I need some help!" A man's voice calls from outside. Emma's heart races anew. The blinds are drawn, blocking her view of the outside world. She feels trapped, scared to even move as she contemplates the intruder at her window.
There's someone outside my window. I think they're trying to get in.
Stay calm, ma'am. Help is on the way.
Hanging up, Emma feels the weight of the situation settle heavily on her shoulders, the atmosphere in the house becoming suffocating. Moments pass like hours as she listens for any further sounds outside. Just then, the doorbell rings again, followed by loud knocking at her door. The urgency in the knocking feels relentless, like a countdown to something terrifying.
Who is it?
Police, open up.
Relieved yet hesitant, Emma peers through the glass and sees two officers standing on her porch. One officer is taller, imposing, while the other remains silent, shadowing his partner. When she opens the door, the taller officer steps inside without waiting for an invitation. His demeanor is dismissive, almost condescending as he claims they're responding to her report.
There was someone outside my window. I think they were trying to get in.
Can you describe the man?
Emma struggles to provide details since she hadn't seen him clearly.
I didn't get a good look at him.
His rudeness catches her off guard, making her feel small and frightened rather than supported. The following evening, Emma attempts to push the previous night's events from her mind as she prepares for a Halloween party at her friend Sarah's house. Dressed as Velma from Scooby-Doo, she is eager to immerse herself in the festive spirit, surrounded by friends and laughter once again. However, as the hours pass and the night deepens, the sense of dread creeps back in.
Thinking, I hope Mark messages me soon.
The noise of the party fades slightly in her mind as she sneaks glances at her phone, half hoping to see a message from Mark, who is still away. The party picks up around 10:30, with people dancing and music blaring. Emma tries to join in, but her heart isn't fully in it. She recalls the unnerving night she had before and the unwelcome memory of that man at her window. As the clock strikes 1 in the morning, she decides to leave.
Thanks for a wonderful night, Sarah. I think I need to head home now.
Are you sure, Emma? You can stay if you want.
No, I really need to go, but thank you.
When she arrives home, a cold draft washes over her as she enters the house. Setting her things down on the dining room table, she notices that a window is wide open, an unsettling reminder of her fear.
Did I leave that open?
She wonders, trying to reason with herself. She moves to shut it, feeling uneasy, and heads toward the bathroom to brush her teeth. but the unsettling feeling doesn't leave her.
The house is too quiet. Something feels off.
Emma returns home, entering the quiet, dark house, and immediately feels a chill. As she emerges from the bathroom, the atmosphere has changed dramatically. The basement door is ajar, wide open, an ominous invitation into the darkness.
Why is the basement door open?
Emma freezes, fear rooting her to the spot. She approaches the basement stairs cautiously. A creeping sound catches her attention. A faint but consistent clicking noise emanates from below. The house feels too quiet, her heart racing as she grapples with the fear that someone might be down there. She steps closer to the top of the stairs, looking into the pitch-black basement. Suddenly, the clicking stops.
Who's there?
Emma's breath catches in her throat as a voice breaks the silence, chilling her to the core. You're finally home. The sheer terror of the moment sends her adrenaline surging. Without a second thought, she slams the basement door shut and rushes outside, heart pounding.
Please, you have to help me. Someone was in my house.
Shaking, Emma bangs on her neighbor's door, nearly in tears as she explains the situation. She calls the police again, her voice quaking with fear. To her dismay, the same two officers arrive. The tall one's attitude seems to soften slightly now that her neighbor is present. He exchanges brief words with his partner before they proceed to search the house. Emma guides them, still feeling the remnants of terror from her last encounter.
All right, let's take a look around.
Together with her neighbor, she watches as the officers do a cursory sweep of the home, their flashlights casting long shadows on the walls. Emma shows them spots she fears someone might hide, her imagination running wild as they check under beds and behind curtains. Eventually, the officers emerge, shrugging their shoulders as if to say there's nothing amiss.
We can't do much without evidence, ma'am.
His tone is less dismissive than before. With a heavy heart, Emma feels both grateful for her neighbor's presence and frustrated by the police's lack of urgency. When they finally leave, she feels the weight of dread settle back in her chest, the uncertainty gnawing at her mind.
I need to get out of here, at least until Mark returns.
The next day, Emma decides to pack a bag to stay with her sister until Mark returns. She locks every window, ensuring that she's safe. As she leaves the house, she glances back one last time, her heart racing with a mix of anxiety and lingering fear. The sight of her home, usually a comforting space, now feels alien and threatening.
You're safe here, Emma. Just try to relax.
During her stay with her sister, Emma tries to focus on her daily life, but the shadow of the previous nights lingers, haunting her thoughts. She struggles to find peace, and nightmares begin to plague her sleep, where she hears knocking on windows and sees shadowy figures lurking outside. Her mind spirals into a constant state of anxiety, each creak of the house sounding like footsteps, each flicker of the lights making her jump. Despite the reassurance of her sister and friends, Emma realizes the toll that the experience has taken on her mental health. The trauma lingers, and she often finds herself looking over her shoulder, feeling paranoid and jumpy. As weeks pass, she starts therapy to cope with the PTSD that has taken root, determined to reclaim her sense of safety and security.
I can't believe how quickly everything changed. I never thought I'd feel so unsafe in my own home.
The story ends with Emma reflecting on her experience, realizing the importance of personal safety and vigilance. She resolves to never take her security for granted again, and to ensure that all windows and doors remain locked.
I'll never let my guard down again.
The audience is left with a sense of unease, pondering the thin line between safety and danger, and how quickly comfort can turn to fear. The closing scene emphasizes the lasting impact of fear, as Emma hears a knock at the door, her heart racing once more, leaving viewers with an unsettling question. Who or what might be waiting on the other side?